Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we will be talking about the Married at First Sight Season 18, Episode 15, Afterparty.
Listen, we need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, go back and watch the main review that we just did. Now let's get into this after party.
Yes. So Camille, Michelle, and Elliot Lee, an astrologist, is on the panel for tonight.
Nice.
Michelle's intention was to get to the bottom of things when she came to this retreat. So we see the clip of Michelle telling the girls that she doesn't feel supported.
Yeah.
She wanted to get other people's opinion and wanted to have that discussion in front of everyone for that reason. And David shut the conversation down. And Keisha clarifies that, it really did just seem like it was Madison and David who walked away, which would make sense because they are the guilty parties.
Of course.
Camille says that she doesn't usually try to jump in on situations. She wants to gather all the information in order to figure out what's really going on.
Okay.
And Keisha says you don't expect your friend to be getting eaten by your husband.
That is crazy.
Any thoughts about that?
Look, David gave Michelle an out. And that's what it is. Like we can't say nothing now. Like, I know people who are probably like anti-Michelle and things of that nature. She did her thing on this one. You get what I'm saying? Because David couldn't keep his shirt clean. David couldn't keep his record clean and things of that nature. Listen here. This is a different tone when it comes to the after party, because remember, in the beginning and even in the middle of the season, it was poor David. Oh, woe is David. People came on and said, oh, when I watch this, I can't even look at it because Michelle's treating him this type of way. And now Michelle get to come on the after party and stunt on y'all. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
So we see the clip of Camille and Thomas having their discussion about being parents. Camille definitely wants to have a kid, and there are some conversations about potential parenting styles. Elliot says that Camille has this kind of mothering energy in her chart. With Thomas's chart, you can see how protective he is and that he wants to be a cycle breaker.
No disrespect, but sure. If we go use charts to read personalities and guess personalities and things of that nature, because even down the line, when Juan shows up on the show and things of that nature, she thought Juan would be one way based on his chart, and he's not.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, look, if Camille wants to be a mom, I have no problem. Like, I think she should try. I think, as women would tell me all the time, it's one of the greatest gifts. You get what I'm saying? I would just make sure that things are right with Thomas, especially with this type of experiment of meeting someone first at sight, especially since the motivation of Thomas is to be like his brother in many ways. I would just make sure that we are good, kind of like what she was saying in the main episode of, hey, make sure our dad is good, make sure like we're good when it comes to parenting styles, or basically like, hey, taking the lead. Because truth be told, you don't want to be raising a grown baby as well too.
Yeah.
You know?
And it was something I mentioned, I think, on one of our deep dives about them, of how I felt like Camille would have to be patient with him and try to kind of like help him get comfortable in his leadership role.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend you do that with a baby. So definitely wait. Yeah. Wait until he kind of works some of those kinks out and develops in those areas.
And Tom is more on your side than his.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
So Michelle, we see the clip of Michelle asking Madison if the text was for her and her saying that it shouldn't be. Michelle is upset because she confided in Madison and she did consider her somewhat of a friend. She also feels validated because she can tell that Madison is lying.
Yeah. Elliot
says that watching it felt like Madison's reaction was more like flattery than actual shock and disgust.
Well, I actually can see that actually, but I will say, hey, Michelle, hey, stop confiding in people in the sense of my husband, because when you was confiding in Madison, I'm sure you wasn't confiding good things about David. I'm sure you was confiding in Madison like, oh, my marriage is this, my marriage is that, and things like that. It's basically the same thing David was doing with Madison.
Well, the thing is, like, when the girls come together, it's a different dynamic. Like, you're supposed to be able to discuss what's going on in your relationship because you guys are going through a similar process.
Yeah.
So I can understand why she would be more irritated with Madison in that sense, because of the process, we have to get together and talk about things we're going through. And here you are snaking me with all the information that I'm probably giving you.
That is true. But at the same time, I can tell by what Michelle was saying, based on the little clips we've seen, because I'm sure they hung out outside of the camera and things like that.
Yeah.
Based on the little clips she's seen, she's been telling us that, yes, it's me. Yes, I know it's taking me a long time, but he's this, he's that, and then there's this. And then it's like, I find it very hard to believe that even when she was confided in Madison, even with the same experience and things like that she was being completely honest on her part.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why I'm like, if you're going to confide, tell the flaws that you've been doing. Tell the stumbling blocks you have put in place so that the marriage basically didn't start. Their marriage haven't started, and we're 16 episodes in.
True. So we see the text of Madison showing how she had no messages on her phone.
That was dumb.
Michelle said that it was upsetting because Madison just won't admit to it. And Jay, the producer, did get a little bit of truth out of Madison. Michelle wonders why they didn't come to her in the beginning, talking about David and Madison. Yeah. She has been talking about this for weeks, about this text message, and both of them have been radio silent.
That's true.
She searched David's name when Michelle was asking her to go through her text, and apparently she was saying things about David to her friends in text messages. So that's something that came up, and then she like cleared it right away to basically so Michelle couldn't read what was being said.
Yeah.
And Madison's response to that was, well, I'm sure you talk mess about me to your friends. And Michelle's like, I don't know you like that. I don't have no reason to talk about you.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's facts.
And so it was interesting to get that tidbit of information just because, I respect Michelle's investigative skills. And for her to have Madison search David's name, okay, you don't got no text thread, but what's been talked about? And the fact that there has been conversation about David with your friends, what is that about? So Michelle, she was getting to the truth.
No, listen here, man. Michelle was definitely a dog with a bone, and she wasn't going to let it go. But I will say this, though. Michelle just want her ego stroked in this. And even though she was wronged and things like that, because, someone cheated on you and no one deserves that, even though, you've been a tyrant, right? Even though you was wronged, I can speak out of both sides of my mouth and say you wasn't wronged. It's like you laid down the groundwork for this to happen. I can honestly say I don't know if David would have did this if you was open to the marriage. I don't know. I can only go with the facts of what actually happened. And the facts of the matter is David is a liar. And the facts of the matter is that throughout the time, you was not open to David throughout the whole process, from the wedding day all the way to this point. So it is what it is.
Camille said that the energy in the house was heavy.
Yeah.
They fell asleep with their mics on just because nobody came from production to take their mics off. And it was apparent that something was probably going to pop off later on that evening.
Oh, my goodness, Camille. You over here talking about you want that R&B swag, and you want somebody that got smoothness. You and Thomas went to bed at 9:00 that night, and whole time it's kind of funny because imagine them waking up and still thinking they got their mics on, and for them to still have their mics on, they like, what is production filming? Usually there's an end of the night production comes and unmic you, but they have their mics on. They're like, hold on, they're still filming going on. They go out there and see Madison hiding in the corner, Allan crashing out outside and stuff like that. Thomas like, let me go find them. Listen here. I would have loved to have been there on that retreat because I would have been like, Allan, let's jump him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Goodness.
Yeah.
So we see the clip of Madison telling David that she has feelings.
Yeah.
Michelle says that he's pretending to be shocked like they haven't been flirting.
Yeah.
Elliot says that David is a Gemini moon and a Leo sun. He needs a lot of admiration, affirmation, and attention. David and Madison have compatible Mars placements physically, but not emotionally. And Keisha says it seems like they're in this hot and heavy phase, but marriage takes more than that. They asked if they saw any flirting moments looking back. Michelle said that David stayed back with Madison one time when they were all out, and that was something to make note of.
Hey, listen here, man. The lady said, Miss Elliott, her name is.
Yeah.
She said he needs admiration,
affirmation,
that
and attention.
And attention. Everybody needs that. That's not only special to a Gemini or special to David and things of that nature. And guess what? Michelle was not giving him that, right? I don't know if Madison was giving him that, but definitely more than what Michelle was giving him and things of that nature. I think if Michelle was with someone that she was actually attracted to and she wasn't getting that, she would feel some type of way. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think that really has nothing to do with a chart. More than like, yo, you like me. I like you. I want to admire you. I want to tell you how much I like you. I want to affirm you in things. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, basically human decency. You get what I'm saying? Especially in a marriage.
And I will say that Michelle was on the money. I completely felt like they were pretending to be shocked, pretending to come out with their feelings in the moment. Like, y'all have had some conversations before. Y'all have developed some type of comfortability with each other to where he's grabbing her drink and drinking it and sending her these messages about eating her up and all that type of stuff. You don't send that type of stuff to somebody that you're just talking to unless you're really a certified weirdo.
No.
But the fact that she was flattered the way that it appeared that she would have gotten that type of text message from him, it makes me wonder what kind of flirty text were y'all sending. This was not the first and only one. I refuse to believe it.
And truth be told, maybe guess what, maybe that 25% that I said that that maybe they did sleep together, would be proven right, and I would be proven wrong, because I said that I don't think they slept together. But at the same time, if it's just a crush, I never had a crush on a girl and led with, I just want to eat you up right now because you're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, never. You get what I'm saying?
Because the woman, unless, you get down like that, would immediately be turned off. You weirdo.
Yeah.
You ain't even talked to me before.
I'm calling the cops. Okay. Facts.
So David, we see the clip of David telling Michelle that the text was meant for Madison. Michelle says that David wanted to walk by her, and she asked him if he had something to say to her because no one had talked to her. Allan was the only one who confirmed that what she thought was true. And it feels like he's blowing her off. Camille ended up talking to David after he talked to Michelle to basically gather him a little bit.
Yeah.
Elliot says that it's a dismissive conversation. It's saying one thing, doing another, and that is the duality of the Gemini.
Of a David.
Michelle is still wondering how long it's been going on, but she feels validated because she was right and wasn't just stirring up unnecessary drama.
Look, I understand you was right, but at the end of the day, like, you wasn't a good wife and a good contestant for the show. Like, at the end of the day, like, David is who he is. It's hard for us to really think any lower of David because we've been saying from the jump, yelling from the mountaintops, he's a child. He lived with his mama and things like that. And guess what? I'm not going to, which may be hypocritical, I don't care, right? I'm not going to criticize a child for acting like a child. I call David a child from the jump. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? He should have been a man, and he shouldn't have been picked for this process from the jump. And guess what? I blame the experts. I blame Pastor Cal, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pierre for trying to sell David specifically to Michelle and things of that nature, and trying to gaslight her and basically making it seem like, you said you wanted this, right? You said you wanted this. No, I did not say I wanted this guy.
I hear you, but at the same time, like, people can be liars, and both Madison and David have proven to be liars.
Yeah.
And if you're a liar, conniver, that type of person, and you happen to fool yourself onto a TV show, I'm with Carla. What comes in the dark, what is in the dark will come to light.
That is true.
And your true character has been shown.
That's facts.
So, Amem, Juan, and Elliot are now on the after party show with Keisha. Everything always goes down at the retreat. Elliot says because the decision day is coming, it is pretty much a pressure cooker.
Okay.
We see the Carla and Juan pottery class, and Juan says that it did loosen them up a little bit. There was kind of like an intimate, fun connection there. Elliot says that Juan has a Taurus moon. He likes to touch. She would think that he would be more touchy-feely in his relationship, but acts of service would also be important to him.
Well, that just shows that he don't like to touch.
Yeah, or he doesn't like to touch Carla.
Look, all the above. You get what I'm saying?
Keisha says that she can just see how it could possibly work, but Juan would have to get out of his own way.
Give it up. He don't like that girl.
So we see the game of them playing most likely to, and we get to the part to where we choose who's most likely to get caught cheating and who's most likely to swap partners. Juan put David, and he's thinking maybe it was his intuition. And Mim says that, because I think Madison and Allan put her down as far as like swapping partners. And she just makes a joke that she loves everybody. Everybody loves her. It's enough of her to go around.
Yeah.
And Mim is over her marriage at this point. She wants to see this process through, not let Ikechi impact her happiness in any type of way.
100%. And just to comment on Juan, Juan, you just trying to clear your name. I think you knew. And you over here putting David's name down is your way of trying to basically like, oh yeah, he will get caught cheating because he is cheating, and I know, and me and Carlin know, but that's just my suspicion on David and Juan and Carlin, that they all knew about the Madison thing.
So we see the clip of Michelle telling Allan about her suspicions, and Mim said that Allan was completely blindsided. He was oblivious to the entire situation. Michelle appeared to Keisha that she was tender in the way that it affected Allan because she was trying to make sure he was okay and she wasn't trying to upset him.
Okay.
Juan says that Allan was cooking and they pretty much ate that energy that night, and maybe that's why things got crazy. So
I thought you're not into energy and all that stuff. I thought you're not into that fantasy world. Is that what he called it? Mm-hmm. And stuff like that? Juan, I think I'm tired of Juan.
But they do note that Allan is loyal and honest, and he has stood up for David in different occasions.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. We then see the clip of David telling Allan that he has feelings for Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And Mem says it's difficult to see David defending himself the majority of the conversation. Juan says that David needs to apologize to Michelle. It was all her intuition and she was right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot tells us that David was always relaxed despite whatever conversation he was having with Michelle.
Yeah.
He was nonchalant and wasn't really with her in the process.
I kind of see that, like, in the conversation. If I'm having a tense conversation, now this don't work for every situation, but I can see it for this situation specifically because, for one, we all knew David was lying.
Yeah.
Right? So something as serious as your wife accusing you of basically cheating and stepping out of the marriage, he's basically like, listen, this is the truth. Take it or leave it. And it's like, wait a minute, like this is about to ruin your marriage, even though the marriage is what it is. But David just came off as very nonchalant about the whole thing.
But I also felt like he was nonchalant before that. I mean, when they were going through their issues, it's as though that they weren't issues for him.
Oh, okay. I see what
he was so calm and chill about everything and saying that he was just going to keep doing what he needed to do
because he already had
to make his wife comfortable. And it seems like you're nonchalant because you didn't care because you had some girls you was already talking to.
That's true. Actually, that's actually a good read right there.
Yeah. So then we get to the do-over segment, and they ask Juan, how could David have communicated this better? And Juan says, he did have a situation where he wanted to pursue someone that his friend, I think he said, was currently dating,
like in a relationship
with. Yes. And he says that you just need to be honest about your feelings and wanting to pursue that person.
What?
Juan is low down as well.
I'm about to say, like, what are you talking about? Like, this wasn't a situation to where, like, she is single and things of that nature, and we both like the same girl,
right?
But she ended up liking me, right? And I'm like, I know my boy like her, so I gotta talk to her. I gotta talk to him. He basically was like, this is what I would do because I did it before. I'm like, what did you do? Well, he was in a relationship with this girl, and I told her that, like, I want to pursue her. And then, I wonder how that conversation went, Juan. Was it all positivity? Was he basically like, I'm gonna keep my integrity? Or did he put pause on you? I don't know what type of friends y'all have, but yeah, Juan was wild for that.
Abim said Madison could have had this conversation with Michelle.
Facts. When
everything was going on. And if I'll give my perception about the do-over question, I think that, honestly, I don't think there was any good way for David to have this conversation with Allan at this point. Y'all should have had this conversation way before Michelle started her investigative work.
Yeah.
Y'all should have come out and said that, hey, we have a connection, we're clicking, and we are sorry that we can't continue our marriages, but this is something that we want to pursue.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't even know how seriously they want to pursue each other. I both think they're a couple of good time people, and they're, if they end up in a long loving relationship, hats off to them. But to start your foundation on something this rocky, this messy, with all of these lies, I think they're going to end up lying to each other and end up combusting their relationship. So,
Yeah, I mean, but the reality is, like, a lie is a lie, and people live their life on lies.
Yeah.
And they live happily on lies and things like that. Not to throw out no names, but I throw out a couple names and things of that nature. Some people feel like Karma has took Alicia Keys' voice because of how she got with Swiss Beats and things of that nature. So it's like even though, like, we want to believe, like, good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. Listen, if they end up together in a messy way and they end up being together, listen, it's just how it works. That's just the reality of what it is. Maybe they're soulmates. I don't know. I do think there is no, to like your point, Blair, there is no right way to do the wrong thing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it just, you want to basically try to do it as soon as possible and not have these secret dates behind their back. It would have stopped after the first date. Like, this ain't right. This don't feel right. We need to talk to our spouses.
Right.
And guess what? Just take whatever comes with that.
Mm-hmm. Then we see the clip of Juan and MM comforting Allan.
Yeah.
Juan was trying to coach Allan in the things that he learned through therapy. And Allan, did do a lot to try to make his relationship work. And then Keisha says that, well, if you're doing all that, then it's probably not your person.
And also, Juan, nobody actually be nobody coach. Like, Juan always want to be in a position where he want to teach somebody something. You get what I'm saying? It's like whole time you want to coach somebody through something where whole time you are failing in your marriage.
Yeah. I guess my thing with Juan is that I think that there is a place in trying to pour positivity into somebody and pour life into them. But I don't think the moment is when there's actual when everything has just hit the fan.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to allow people the space to feel how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe the next day or a couple days later when you check in on him and see how he's doing and tell him like, hey, I know this is rough. Don't let it keep you down. I'm going to come in and check on you. We're going to go get some lunch or something like that when we get back into town. That's one thing of trying to lift somebody's spirits. But when you're doing it in the moment of them actually just hearing what they heard, I really feel like it's dismissive in trying to get them to not express themselves. Allan needs to. He's been dismissing his own feelings for the longest.
You're
and
right.
if he needs to scream it out, yell it out, stop kicking, the cabinets in them people's house.
Don't hurt your
but
hand.
Yes, but go outside, run it out, do whatever you need to do. But I'm agreeing with Allan when he said F you on with all this positivity because the man is mad. Let him be mad. Let him be mad for a good couple hours at least.
Exactly. Listen, just because Allan is just because Allan decided to show up as his true self and things of that nature, and he don't want to be a phony type of like, kind of show up on camera his way and things like that, the way you doing one, don't mean everybody gotta go by that. We finally get to see the real Allan. And I'm happy that I saw it and things of that nature.
And that's all I got.
That's all you got? Make sure y'all subscribe, like, share, comment. We gonna do a couple deep dives this week. I got some questions that I want to ask y'all to see, to get y'all opinion on, to see am I off, am I on, kind of off, kind of on, and Blair gonna assist in that as well.
Yes.
Anything else?
That's all.
Y'all be good.
Bye.